If it ain't NFL jock, just turn that shit off.
Yo, man, we back with another one, and another one, man. This is What I Think of Podcast, Stories Behind the Craft. I'm here today with a special guest, somebody that's been supporting me throughout this whole process for the last couple of years. She's been mentioned a few times on the platform. Somebody that goes behind the scenes and been through all the emotional roller coasters up and down with me, and vice versa. So, without further ado, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Layla Influencer. I am the CEO of LTF Magazine.
Right.
What I like to do is showcase entrepreneurs, music artists, models, and so forth. My thing is that a lot of people, they come into the industry not having that background that they need and that foundation. And I would like to give that to them. A lot of the times when I reach out to music artists or they reach out to me at X, Y, and Z, I'm like, oh, like, do you have like a management team? Who can I, collaborate with? Who can I talk with to make sure that they're getting the exposure that they need? And a lot of times, once I wrap up my articles with them, I like to be like, hey, and I have this really cool opportunity that you could do to link with a podcast inside of Orlando that is ran by a really good friend of mine's. And I just try to make sure that everybody is just getting that chance to get out there and get that exposure,
Right.
But, yeah.
That's good. I mean, once I first seen it, it was like something that I was like, that was different than anything else that you would see normally in Orlando. There's a lot of podcasts out here. There's a lot of rappers. There's a lot of content creators, a lot of models, but you don't see a magazine and somebody that's professional and actually cares about the craft and about putting people on. Because when I came into the space, a lot of people wasn't caring about people or caring about what they had going on. So I was kind of like an outlier in a way, to where it's like I was not able to, show the same support other people was getting or shed my light, because I always used to get sunned on and people used to talk down on me for supporting people. If you go back years and years, you'll hear people say, you care too much, you care about people too much, you too giving. And I'm still that way here and there, but we in our villain stage right now, just to let y'all know. So what made you want to give people a platform and want to showcase what they got going on and take the time out of your day to put these articles together, make them look all nice and pretty, get their pictures and stuff like that?
I would say that I am a natural born creator myself. I write. So I'm very much a poetry, songwriting. I paint. I grew up in band, so I played the clarinet. I played a little bit of flute. I played a little bit of saxophone. I grew up very much piano. I would say, honestly, growing up in a single parent home,
right,
you got a lot of time.
Facts.
Especially when you have a parent who's like, listen, you're straight academics in your books. If you're at home, you're doing something that's productive. If you're not at home, you're doing something productive. So I always had to find an outlet in order for me to make sure that I was emotionally stable, I guess you could say. So it's my way of kind of regulating myself, but also being artsy.
Yeah, I definitely see a lot of creative taste and a lot of creative touch, especially even today you posted Entrepreneur of the Week.
Yeah.
And it made me tap in with that person. This person got 3 different things going on. And I looked at all that pictures because I'm a consumer of content all day. And if you promoting somebody, I go look and try to see what they got going on, see if it can align with either they offering a product or service, or they got something that they can bring to the table as far as podcasting or whatever I got going on. I'm willing to support all the way, especially if you co-sign them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Kay, she is wonderful. I've done work with her and her husband. Her husband, he has a clothing line and he's an artist himself. So I've worked with both of them quite often. And when I say I would definitely go ahead and co-sign for them, it's definitely there.
Definitely. So now, how are you able? Because at first we didn't know the name, we didn't know the face, unless you really did your homework. How you was able to keep your face away from your brand? Because a lot of people want to separate their face from their brand. They don't really want to show their face, and they just want to let the work speak for itself. So how you was able to separate yourself from your brand?
Well, I originally did have a personal account. And when I originally started LTF, of course, I used my original following from my personal account to kind of like navigate and introduce LTF to the world. But then I realized that everybody who followed my personal account ended up following
LTF.
LTF. And I was like, there's some things that I would really just like to keep to myself and not allow the world to see. I mean, still to this day, I'll get on LTF sometimes and give them like a background of how I'm doing, what I'm doing. For example, like today, like I posted on my fruit bowl and I was like, y'all, make sure you eat your fruits and drink your water. You feel me?
Right.
But overall, I'm very much a behind the scenes. If I have to be on scenes, I will. But you won't know it's me until you actually speak to me. It was like, hold on, that kind of sounded a little too familiar. You'd be like, wait, LTF, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's me, CEO, But it is difficult keeping your image and like who you are versus business. It's very hard, especially when you do end up making those connections that go beyond business. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's hard. It's difficult.
But I think for me, I think you do a good job of doing that. Cause for a while before, even when we did collab and you did my first ever article, I still didn't know who was the person. Just like I always tell X-Line Denim, like I didn't know. I knew the brand before I knew the face. That's what made it so better for me because it's like I'm talking to who I can imagine you, whoever I want to imagine you to be. And you can hide behind, it's not really hiding, but you can just, like I said, let the work speak because you're not judging that person on by how they look.
Nope.
You judging the work and their work ethic and what they doing and how they doing it. And it just makes you be like, oh, damn, this person working.
Oh, yeah.
They putting in that work. They doing it for real. And like I said, you was doing it at a higher level. But you on a whole nother level now. But at that time, you was on a level like, damn, this person like, I can't wait to meet this person. So I got so many questions.
Right.
Not like I couldn't hit you up and be like, hey, this, and this.
Right.
It's just that hand-to-hand contact or the hand-to-hand meeting that person is like, okay, yeah. Because that's what I said, like, off the bat, I think me and you hit it off because we both in our own path. We both working.
Yeah.
And we both see that we both standing on business and we both understand that what we're doing is powerful in a sense.
It is. And a lot of the times people don't understand that when you are running a brand, you have to put your foot down. You can't allow certain things to slide because when you do, it opens up that room for error. And a lot of times when you open up that room for error, that's when people go to talking like, oh, like, like she's not on her P's and Q's. She's not doing this. Like, I remember she was doing this. And it's like, I can't give that room. I give that room, then it's like.
Everybody walks through that door.
And it's like, listen, we're not gonna start a cycle. So I try to just stay on my P's and Q's, do what I gotta do. I'm really good at making sure that I'm getting back to emails, messages. If by any chance I do not get back 2 to 5 business days, like, I definitely know like, hey, like X, Y, and Z is going on. I try to stay very transparent and communicate. But for the most part, as a one-woman show, I do pretty good.
Definitely. I think, because a lot of people would think you got a team running it or is multiple people got their hands in the pot, but you sending out emails, you sending out proofs, you sending out contracts, you sending out all different types of stuff. How do you balance that? Because a lot of people probably want to start their own magazine or probably want to get into business. So how are you able to balance that, especially with, like I said, with your personal life? Because a lot of people just think you just sitting behind a computer and you working on proofs all the time or you send out emails all the time.
Right.
You still a human at the end of the day. You still got a life to live at the end of the day.
Yep.
So how do you keep a balance and how do you keep a schedule consistent to where it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing and this is how I'm going to do it? Because I still struggle with that to this day. Everybody knows I try my best to be as organized or be as punctual, but I can't balance it all because, like you said, when you a one man or one woman show, it's just hard.
It is. And I feel like you really just got to have discipline. That's what it is. When it comes down to the end of the day, you got to have discipline. If you don't have discipline, it's not going to fall into line like you need it to. I would say that probably daily, I probably dedicate an hour or two to LTF. A lot of the times of messages going out, y'all hold me accountable for this, but it is true. Pre-type out messages. That is going to be your best friend. And I know it sounds kind of cliche because you're like, no, I feel like every message should be different in their own way. It should be, but initial emails, contacting, copy and paste. It is so much easier, and you know that you're not saying the wrong thing, you know? Mm-hmm. And for me, I already, I'm one of those people where I know the kind of people I want to work with, who I want to give exposure to, and X, Y, and Z. So it's like, off rip, when I started LTF, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to reach out to music artists, entrepreneurs, models, I would say honestly, any and everybody who got something going for themselves, where it's like, we don't get the exposure that we should. We can't be creatives and not be networking with everybody and trying to get that exposure when it's like, you're bigger than what you think you are, you know?
Right.
You don't want to stay small-minded. So with that being said, for anybody who is trying to start something, pre-type those messages. Put them in a document. That way, copy and paste, it's just easier. It's easier. It's less stressful. And, when you just hit that, let me go ahead and find with them keywords. Send.
What is some of the biggest lessons you've learned throughout this process, as far as dealing with all the stuff that you deal with? Because I always talk about my lessons. We don't take them as L, we take them as lessons, and we learn from them, we grow from them. So what's something your biggest lesson you learned throughout this process?
I would say know how to separate business from personal, for one. 2, I would say set your boundaries and stand 10 toes on them. And 3, I'm trying to think. Oh my gosh, I just want to give my top 3. I don't want to give all of them.
No, yeah, you don't got to give them everything. They probably going to hit you up and let you ask some questions.
But hey, that's fine as well too. And my third one would just be yourself. Don't try to put on an image of something that you're not. Be yourself, because what you got to lie for? Facts. I be telling. And when you put on a face, you got to make sure you know how to keep that face on and see when you naturally yourself.
So, my question to you is, why do you think people are constantly trying to be something they're not, or they always trying to not be themselves? Because I always say it's easy to be me. I can't be nobody else.
Society standards. Society standards.
Who came up with these standards, though?
Listen. You want the me talking or the psych talking? Because realistically, societal norms are not norms. I feel like if you are normal, there's something wrong with you.
What you said, if you're not normal?
If you're normal and you consider yourself normal, there is something wrong with you. If you are abnormal, you're in the right space you need to be in. Just because abnormal people means, in my definition at least, abnormal means You're doing what's best for you, and you're not allowing what other people think of you. And you're not allowing others people's image of you to contradict who you are. You're just being you. Versus normal, what people say and how they view you affects you, and you are easy to be disappointed. You know? You don't want to put that stress on yourself where you feel like you're a disappointment to everybody. Be abnormal. Be yourself. Don't be somebody that they want you to be.
She said that because my boy Trey, he was saying, like, we always dim our light to fit in rooms that we don't belong in. And I feel the same way. I feel like LTF going to be LTF.
Yes.
What We're All Thinking podcast going to be What We're All Thinking podcast. Why we got to take the light off us to dim our light to go in rooms we not supposed to be in, or try to be normal and fit in with the rest of the sheep when we black sheep.
Just saying. You said it, not me. But I'm going to support it, though. Because it's the truth.
It is.
It's the truth. Y'all got to realize, just because the door is open does not mean that that is the door for you. Because little do you know, once you walk through that door is going to close. And you're going to be stuck in a room you don't want to be in. Which means you're going to be stuck around people you don't want to be around. Who are going to either drag you down, continue to place negativity into your life that you don't need, and, as you said, continue to dim your light. Why would you walk into a room, into a space where that door has the opportunity of closing? You don't want to walk into doors where they can close. You want to keep walking into doors where you know that next door is going to open. So that's like, for example, me and you were doing this podcast together, right? That door opened. I mean, it originally opened with us just doing an article together. You feel me?
Right.
But, you know, us doing an article together, us actually growing a bond beyond that, opened the next door for me to actually come out and be on the platform. You feel me?
Correct.
So it's like you really don't know what's next. Who knows? We might actually decide to throw an event together. The world may never know.
Right.
But it's like, don't walk into them doors that you know gonna close behind you.
So how do people, like, kind of, because they say, you know, discernment and stuff like that, but some people don't have that trait. Some people don't know that they're walking into a room or a door that could be potentially closing. Or they don't know. So how do we kind of navigate and judge? Because we always had these conversations, and like I said, like the different segments you have, I'm touching on things that you touched on in multiple. You talked about a lot of things that people don't even know. So how do people, like, grow from those situations and kind of move forward, or try to be like, okay, I want to peek inside, but I don't want to go all the way inside that door or inside that room. I just want to see what's in there, because we human at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
We gonna make mistakes. We gonna go in that room and be like, okay, I probably don't want to get in that room.
Yes.
But the door's still closing. So how do you kind of, like, navigate and, like, go through this process and learn?
You honestly have to learn to read body language, learn to listen to verbiage, learn to... Body language and verbiage is very much one of the biggest things you just have to learn. Because if you don't, you're going to keep walking and walking and walking and realizing you're getting nowhere. Just because we are curious, because it's in our nature
Very
to
much.
be curious. Some things can be avoided if you pay attention to the signs. There are always signs. Now, how you take those signs is up to you. I personally feel like the way we read signs all depends on how we grew up. How we grew up. I mean, if you had that parent who was there and like really taught you like the ins and outs of things, especially before it was age appropriate, as they like to say, you navigate life differently versus when you have parents who kind of just let you be free willed, free spirited, right? And they didn't really teach you those life skills. And that makes adulthood a little bit harder for you.
Mm-hmm. There's a mixture of both, though. I can agree to disagree because there's parents that let you be free willed, and some of those kids come out to be the most successful kids, or there's kids that, you know, their parents is overbearing and then they crash out because they either was too sheltered or they was too let go. And then there's parents like
That's valid too.
They have, so it's like I call it like the player coach parent. So they'll let you do something, but they'll coach you through it, or they'll be like, "Come talk to me," and then you have that open door policy with your parents. Like, I feel like now I could talk to my parents about anything.
Right.
Some things I'd rather not.
Right.
I let it be what it is, but other things I'll come to them and be like, "Hey, how you feel about this?" Or was I wrong in this situation? Or how can I handle this situation? Especially being in a place of business.
Right.
There's a lot of things we don't understand that they probably can help us or navigate us through it.
Definitely.
Because they can learn from it and we can also learn from it in a sense.
That's why they say words of wisdom. Go to your elders.
Right.
I mean, you know, they are older. They know some things. We know some things. Sometimes we don't agree with the things they know. Sometimes they don't agree with the things we know. But at the end of the day, just having that open, open communication and everything with them, and just act. You gotta listen. That's the problem. You gotta listen.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like to listen.
I'm one of them.
You gotta listen to comprehend. Cause some people listen and they go in one ear, out the other ear. But you gotta listen to comprehend. So.
Or like I said on my pod that I did yesterday, you're gonna get bit too many times and you're gonna get tired of being tired.
Cause we gonna leave it at that.
So, how do you come up with like your segments of your magazine? Because you talked about Black history, Black excellence, breaking chains. You had people have I can never say the word anonymous. Anonymous tips come in and they was talking about different things, and you got a lot more coming that I hope you want to share. So how you come up with your segments and things of that nature?
I feel like, honestly, I would sit like how I am right now, and I would be like, you know, we still got some months to go in the year, and I'll sit there and try to brainstorm, and y'all, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's been a journey because January was definitely that, all right, let me vent. Can I vent kind of thing, you feel me? And a lot of the times when I send out the questionnaires for individuals submitting for LTF, a lot of the times it is like, what is a struggle for you as an artist or as an entrepreneur or little things like that? Or do you just want to vent? Do you want to get something off your chest? Like, how are you feeling right now? Like, this is a safe space, you know? That's how I came up with that segment for January. February, I was like, all right, listen, y'all. We got to lock in because, you know, sadly, we live in a world where they don't like to give us our flowers every day. So, you know, they try to dim our light a little bit by just giving us, you know, February. You know, we got June too, because, you know, we got Juneteenth and everything. But it's like, why only showcase once when you can showcase all the time? I mean, we are the reason why a lot is accomplished.
But I feel like, because I don't like talking about it, because it's like, for the people that came before us, they did what they needed to do. But
yeah, for sure.
There's some people out there that take that advantage and they run with it. And they overuse it. I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to get.
It's me over here like, listen, because we can get into it because being half Mexican, being half black.
Hold on. I know you're enjoying the video, but I got one quick message for you. Struggling to find balance, struggling with mental health, struggling with your path. I got the perfect guide for you. My ebook down in the link below. Click the link and get your copy today.
I've seen all kinds of stuff. But like you said, we ain't gonna get into it.
Yeah, that's a phone conversation we can have. But I just feel like it's some people out there that do the right thing, and it leads with us. We gotta move forward, and it's tough because we only two people, because we both could be on the same page, but the 3-4 people ahead of us are not on the same page. They kind of want to do whatever they want to do, or they see fit, or like I always say, pull the card. In a sense. Yeah. And then they get mad when people call them out on it and it don't be that.
Touche.
Oh, okay.
Touche.
So I thought.
Touche. I'm going to just touche. But yeah, I mean, overall, just coming up with the ideas, it honestly just depends on, you got to know your audience. You got to know your audience.
Explain that.
For me, in a sense, I would say my audience is very involved. They actually like to put their input in on ideas that I have.
And very diverse.
When I like to put on polls, I'd be like, what do y'all think we should do next? Should we do this? Should we do that? I mean, it's a lot. Like, as you tell, for May, I did a whole May edition. And then I was like, while I'm at it, let me go ahead and do mental health too. Because a lot of people don't know, when you run a business, when you are an entrepreneur, why do I do that?
We all, hey.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
But I can honestly say mental health to me is very important.
That's what my next question was. But go ahead.
It's very important to me. Well, they say, I know this ain't no excuse or nothing, but I mean, I suffer from depression. Mm-hmm. I got ADHD. Y'all, I got anxiety. I got anxiety bad. I actually had an anxiety attack not too long ago. But we're not going to get into that. I'm working on it. But it's very important. I don't think people understand how a phone call, a text message, or just seeing somebody, how far it can actually go for them.
Right.
You know? It's me trying not to get emotional. But it goes a long way. And I feel like people should definitely be more open about talking about mental health. And just taking a lot more things into consideration. And just knowing that they aren't the only ones battling certain things, you know. We live in a world where people like to be silent about their battles. But when you find that person who could be your outlet, or multiple people that could be your outlet, I feel like y'all should just take that time and just figure out how y'all can make things better within yourself and within others, you know?
Yeah, I'm big on mental health too, because to be honest, I was very ignorant to it. 'Cause I was just like, man, I'm going to just go play video games, or I'm going to go mess with this girl over here, or I'm going to go play flag football. And it became more than that. Like, those are just Band-Aids.
Oh, yeah, you got to get all the way down underneath that scab. That's
what I'm saying. So once I realized how, easy it was for me to, like, push it off, and then it came back 10 times harder, I had to understand, like, okay, this is a problem. What is wrong with me? Why I don't want to talk to nobody? Why some days I want to go in my room, close my door.
Right.
And don't want to say nothing, don't want to talk to nobody. I just couldn't figure it out until I realized, like, damn, I'm really going through some shit. I don't know what it is. I don't know who I could talk to.
Right.
Because I don't even know what this is. I don't even know if I'm depressed for real. So a lot of people, like, are probably not only they don't know what it is, they just confused. Because a lot of people say, oh, go find somebody to talk to. You don't know if it's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You just going through the motions every single day. And I forgot who said this, but it said as kids, we didn't have to worry about a lot of stuff that we worry about now. We went through life just floating, and that was that. So now us going into adulthood and getting older, we losing family members, we losing friends, we losing classmates, we losing people that we done business with, or relationships just don't work out. Whether it's intimacy, real friendships, somebody you talk to every single day, it just all falls apart.
It's just those transitions in life. It's you lose some and you win some.
Right.
Like you said, we can't take everything as L's. We got to take them as lessons.
Facts.
I would very much say, because me personally, y'all, I don't like to talk. Let me tell you something.
She do, just not.
I will call you and just be in tears on the phone. I will. I ain't gonna lie. But sometimes I just be needing to cry. And then I'd be feeling better. I'd be like, I just need to let this out. But everybody got their own way of.
I just go click that middle button on my controller.
And watch it load up.
And I'm good. Like, okay, I'm gonna go play 2K. I'm gonna go chill. Or, like I said, like I realize me helping other people is like a good.
That's therapeutic too.
Yeah, like, okay, what you need help with? I think I can help you. Mm-hmm. And then, like, after I'm done helping, we go, cause that change, that rush, and I feel like when it's just the routine that we built growing up. Yeah. Going to school, coming home. By the time we get home, if you after school activities, band, sports, clubs, you done. You ain't got time to think about nothing else. So now that as we get older, that adult space, we got a lot of dead time. So all the things that we didn't have time for, they creep it up in that room, and you like, what's going on here? And it's like, now you dealing with old skeletons in your closet, and you like, damn, I really did that?
Yep.
And you like, all right, let's figure this out. And then I went to therapy for a little bit. It was cool. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I have to find another way around this shit. I can't, because I don't know. Therapy was a little weird for me. Shout out to her, though. She was great. It wasn't her. It was me. Yeah, but it was me. It wasn't her. But
I mean, therapy isn't for everybody. I mean, me personally, I tried. I go at least once a month now. At least once a month. It's not for me. Only because, ma'am, I know that there is something internally wrong with me. I can admit that, Mm-hmm. But what we not about to do is sit here and 21 question me. Because I came here just to vent. That's all. I mean, I know that you would love to get to know me further and actually hit the button for what it is. But I just want to vent. That's all. Just let me vent. Let me be great. Let me vent. I'm good.
So, I know you're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But this month is for the fellas. I don't know. This is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month for the men. And they say men's mental health is like kind of like a little bit bigger because we always push our feelings off.
Yes, because I feel like a lot of the times y'all are told, growing up, y'all are told to not cry or to cut that out, like that's for girls and X, Y, and Z. Let me tell you something. A man that is emotionally intelligent, women fear.
Well, when you say emotionally intelligent, what does that mean so I can learn it?
Listen, I don't think people understand. A man that can express how he feels and knows how to protect his peace, he will walk a woman out his life because she's not ready.
So isn't that like a high functioning male?
Yes. In a sense.
How do they walk him out though? Like, he don't tell her off and then he's just like,
Not in that aspect. No, it's more so a man that knows how to handle his emotions, and then he comes across a woman who does not know how to handle her emotions, and her emotions are outbursts, and he knows that that's just something that he has worked hard on not doing. Oh, he protecting his peace, and he gonna tell you politely the door.
Mm. Damn, I gotta learn that shit. I'm gonna watch some videos on that. I ain't gonna lie, I gotta start walking people out. Cause it don't be just females. He walk anybody. That whoever that man is, he probably walking family members, friends, anybody, like just to protect who he is.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm gonna give it to you because it's men, you know. But I mean, me personally, I have walked out family members.
Why do you think? Why do you think it's so hard? Cause like growing up, it's like everybody talks about family first,
Blood thicker than water.
blood thicker than water. Those themes or those sayings.
Mhm.
Why you think those things are so vital, and why do we always have to go through it the hardest with those people? Oh, we gotta make those tough decisions with those people.
I can't speak for nobody else family dynamic. But I mean, I could use personal experience. For me, I mean, for my mother and her kids were the black sheep of the family.
Hmm.
There's a lot of competition in my family, and I'm very much just one of those. Why compete when we can get it together? But
I like a little healthy competition.
mm,
I'm okay with that.
to each his own.
We
But
can still get it together, but I feel like as long as we building,
yeah, but I mean that, and on top of drama, I'm just unproblematic, and I just don't need it in my life. I found peace, and when I tell you, I ain't going back. I ain't going back. I'm good.
has there been any moment throughout like your journey as an entrepreneur that you had to scare yourself back from not reverting back to your old self?
For sure. I don't like how you low-key called me out on that, but for sure.
I mean, we all go through that as entrepreneurs because they feel like because we up and coming or like we lower tier on the bottom, they feel like they can play.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So that's why I had to ask that. Because maybe you a bit dog, maybe they don't play with you like that.
Mm-mm.
But I know some people done tried to straddle the fence and jump over to see what's over there.
Mm-mm. I run a tight ship. That's all I'm going to say.
So, what's next for you? What do you have coming? What's some things we need to look out for? What is LTF looking to do for the rest of the year?
That's a great question. I mean, we got 6 more months.
Don't run behind me.
6 more months. And I'm going to be a quarter next month. So, yeah.
A quarter.
My quarter. I'm going to be a whole 25.
Hey. Hey, put me on the camera. Welcome to the club. We're here. Hey.
But honestly, I don't know. I don't know. So, y'all just stay tuned because I don't know.
So, if you can go back to your old self, what would you tell yourself?
I can go back to my old self. What do I tell myself?
Yeah, if you can go back in the future and be like, Lay, the influencer, the young Lay, what would you tell yourself?
That is a great question, honestly. And it's so crazy that you said that because I actually journaled about that like 2 weeks ago.
I have to journal.
I wrote a whole letter to myself. But I think overall, I would definitely tell myself to focus on me more. Focus on me more and love me more. That would be my message to myself.
Mm. So, any magazines that you looked into before you started, like any inspiration?
No.
Oh, because there's a lot of
I
like,
kind of just jumped into it. I originally started, not gonna lie with you, I originally started with just posting pictures of myself going to Southern Hill Farms with a friend. And that actually grew a lot of attention from everybody. They was like, yo, you should do this. And I was like, really? Y'all like it? They was like, yeah. I was like, okay. And that's how LTF started.
mm. So, any gems, anything you want to tell the people before we get out of here?
Nope, just stay tuned.
All right. That's great words from Miss LTF herself. I want to give her a special shout out for coming on the podcast. Maybe we might do an audio one instead next time so she could be a little more comfortable. I was just playing. But shout out to her for coming through, man. This is like family. Y'all already know. Y'all seen her on the story multiple times. This is somebody that she always been supportive of this, so I want to give her a special shout out, special everything. So yeah, y'all tune in. Y'all want to tap in, hit the DMs. Don't hit me up, hit her up. Cause I'ma just call her and be like, hey, this person want to tap in, and we go from there.
Right.
So, yeah, man, this is what I think of podcast stories behind the craft. We out. Peace.